Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Omni viewer, and welcome to Omni at the Movies, where today we'll be talking about Shazam!
The movie is very... wait a minute, Shazam!
Ah, that's better. Gotta be careful when I do that. Anyway, the new movie is out. Latest installment of the DC Extended Universe. That shared universe that everyone started out hating, but now people are coming around to liking. And in Shazam, there is definitely a lot to like. Pretty much all the things you'd expect from a good superhero movie are present. Snappy dialogue, good special effects, thrilling action scenes. Like I said, pretty much everything you'd expect from a good superhero film. But then again, this one is a little different considering the character at its center. That being the character formerly called Captain Marvel, but now simply referred to as Shazam. You could say that Shazam himself is the trickiest part of making a Shazam movie, because if you can't strike the right balance between the kid Billy Batson and the adult hero he transforms into, then the rest of the movie's gonna be a pretty hard sell. So does it work? I certainly think it does. I went to see it with someone who said they didn't quite see it that way, though. They said there was a noticeable difference between Asher Angel's take on Billy Batson and Zachary Levi's take on Shazam. For my own part, I never had a hard time believing they were the same character. So, it's possible your mileage may vary on this. The general consensus, however, seems to be that it is believable. Of course, even if you don't believe that the two actors are playing the same character, you can still get invested in both of their stories. There are two slightly different paths followed depending on which version of the character we're looking at the time. When Asher is on screen, it's about Billy struggling to fit in with the foster family he's now been brought into, while also trying to find the mother he lost so many years ago. When Levi is on screen, the story is about Shazam learning to become an actual proper hero, and essentially growing up to take on that full responsibility. But don't take that to mean that these two stories are somehow completely separate from each other. They're always balancing each other out, and by the end are completely intertwined with each other. I think what's really winning people over about Shazam, and what won me over as well, is the fact that this movie has a lot of heart. The trailers have really been playing up the humorous aspects of this movie, and make no mistake, it is funny, but there are also some genuinely heartbreaking moments within. Some of them are spoilers, so I can't tell you too much, but there's one particularly heartbreaking aspect which plays into something that's also been absent from a lot of the trailers: the villain. Dr. Sivana, one of the old-school Shazam villains, is the primary antagonist of this film. And, as I said, he's not in the trailers all that much. I think this might have made a lot of people wonder if he was going to be a worthwhile villain. Normally, when you keep the villain out of the advertising, that's a pretty good sign there's not much to him. And of course, the general audience has kind of gotten used to the idea of having lackluster villains in superhero movies thanks to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Oh, don't give me that look. You know full well one of the biggest problems with the MCU has always been a lack of good villains. They didn't lead with Thanos, you know. However, I'm happy to report that Dr. Sivana is actually one of the better cinematic supervillains to grace the screen in recent years. He's not just an obstacle for the hero to overcome. He's actually got a backstory. He's got a lot of emotion into him. And in many ways, he's a dark mirror for Billy Batson. I am telling you, the trailers did not do him justice in any way, shape, or form. He is definitely going to be a standout villain for a lot of people. Anyway, like I was saying, Sivana's story has its fair share of heartbreaking moments. And seeing that contrasted with Billy's journey and all of his heartbreaking moments really helps to show how they play off each other. You see how they're both subjected to the hardships of life, and how those hardships mold them into the people they are. We definitely need more hero-villain dichotomies like this one. Something you may not be expecting from this movie, again based on what the trailers have shown, is that it's actually got a slight touch of horror film to it. Really, that shouldn't surprise anyone. The director is David F. Sandberg, whose more recent outings have included horror films like Lights Out and Annabelle Creation. The horror generally comes into play when Dr. Sivana is on the screen, and it's surprisingly effective. In fact, it goes to some pretty dark places for this kind of movie. But then again, it's not so dark that it feels out of place within the film. And other than that, well, what else is there to say? Shazam has just about everything you could possibly want from a superhero movie. It's exciting, it's funny, it's scary, it's tragic, it's heartfelt. It's the whole package. Some other channels I've seen review this film may be blowing its quality a little bit out of proportion, but it is still nevertheless a good film and definitely one you'd want to see in theaters. At least that's my take. And of course, if you've seen it, you're free to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it as well as subscribe to the channel for more content of a similar nature. Also, check the description for links to our Twitter, DeviantArt, and Patreon pages, as well as the Amazon link for the novel Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, penned by yours truly. Thank you all, and we appreciate your support.